And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Hope you are having a good day. I just realized I have not done a show since before Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, good holiday, as we head into the Christmas, Hanukkah part of the holidays, which come in the next few weeks. Hope everybody's happy and healthy. I was not in yesterday because, in case you didn't know, I don't think I've ever I think I did mention this a long time ago. When I had an appendectomy many years ago, the surgeon really screwed up and left me with an incision hernia that I never got done, and I'm now going to get it done, finally. It's bugging me after all these years. Anyway, what can I tell you? That was yesterday. I had to go to get all that crap done and whatever. All right. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, anything I think matters. And that includes my not love relationship with this administration. I hate using the word hate. Yeah, I hate using the word hate. That made sense. So I don't say love-hate, but you'll get the point on a few things in a little bit. But first, if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com, also on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. We'll also post it on podcast apps and also the YouTube channel at BizTV. And if you'd like to email me, you just simply have to be nice. I want to start out with good stuff. Michael Dell. Michael and Susan Dell. By the way, he started Dell Computer out of his garage. You can go read up about him. I think he owns now like the Four Seasons on the Big Island, all kinds of whatever. He's big. Michael and Susan Dell on Tuesday announced that they are donating $6.25 billion to fund investment accounts for at least 25 million American children. The pledge will go towards helping fund, they call them the Trump accounts, a new initiative that offers investment accounts for children. The Trump accounts were established as part of the president's One Big Beautiful Bill Act and are set to launch in 26. The Treasury Department is set to deposit $1,000 into the account of every eligible U.S. citizen child born from January 20 of 2025 to December 31st, 2028. Dell's charitable gift will go towards children ages 10 and under who were born before the cutoff for the Treasury's funding. Will fund $250 deposits for investment accounts for at least 25 million children. That's pretty cool. And Michael Dell spoke, and he talked about, if you think about the power of compounding and all that, he's the 11th richest. He's worth $148 billion. I didn't realize that's a lot. They have already donated billions to charitable causes of date. This is... I think, hey, who am I to say what somebody does with their money? I'm not a big fan of taxpayers giving money to children being born. I'm not, but Michael Dell, it's his money. More power to him. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. That's some good news, right? Out of the box. Because I have other news that is not so great, including my Giants. What are they, 2-11 now? Lost last night to the Patriots. Including that also. Let's get into the markets. Let's get right into it. I wasn't here yesterday. Friday was a half day. A few things have turned turned out as we go towards the end of the year. Number one, the major indices, all of them, are now above the 50-day moving average. Not necessarily ascending, but back above the 50-day moving average. Now, as a lesson to all of you, there is no chance of ascending if you are below the 50-day moving average. Doesn't mean you ascend if you are above. You can stay above and sit around and do nothing. But the fact that price for the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ 100 are back above the 50-day, that is good news. On top of that, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index is back above the 50-day. That is good news. I can also mention, let me make sure this, the Russell 2000's back above, but that is never led, and same goes for the mid-caps, but it's a start. So that's number one. And I will tell you 2 Thursdays ago, and I believe that date was the 20th of November. That was a Thursday again. I thought hell was going to break loose. That was the day NVIDIA reported earnings and reversed harshly and took everything down, and just things looked awful, and then we gapped up the next day and really have not looked back. Simple as that. And as long as the big indices are trading above the 50-day moving average, opportunity. If price goes back below the 50-day moving average, not opportunity. So we will be watching that closely. Got to start with the big indices. Next, as you know, we on this show, I believe the date was October 13th. And you know why I remember that? Because that's the anniversary of my bar mitzvah many years ago. On October 13th, we came on the show and we said to you that Bitcoin had broken the 50-day moving average to the downside, and as long as it stays below the 50-day moving average, it is in a void. And it dropped for a few days, rallied back up, and tagged the 50-day moving average, and then crumbled. So all this time, we had an on and a void. And what that simply means, it's different for everybody because we don't know if you own it or not. We just say it's an avoid. We're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. When we say avoid, we're not going to commit any money to an avoid. And you got to decide because it is your money. Subsequently, a big drop, bounced up for 3 days, gapped down yesterday, gapped back up today. Still way off the highs, in bear market territory. But I'm thinking, and I'm not, when I say I'm not 100% sure, I mean it, because it is Bitcoin. But think probably you got a near-term low in for the crypto. And I say that because if you go back to March and April's lows, you pretty much tag March and April. You pretty much tag. You can draw a line all the way across, and you pretty much got to the lows, tested it, and gapped back up after a gap to the downside after a big drop. That's the thought process. Are we in a new bull? No. Possible new bull? Who knows? Just letting you know. What I am wary about is the micro strategy, now called strategy. We have been wary of whatever this guy is doing. And for the record, scares the crap out of me and should scare the crap out of you, because as we have stated for a long while, leverage to buy Bitcoin. Up next, we'll expound lots more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So we were talking the crypto, and very simply, you know what our overall thoughts is. In case you don't know, the story behind the Bitcoin is its limited amount. Doesn't go up on how much there is. And you ended up with the president and his family. And I'm not going to get into it on that point today because I have enough on the president that I'm going to talk about later. But they're involved and they got in crypto, all kinds of whatever, and making billions, whatever. And then there's this Michael Saylor who runs MicroStrategy, now called Strategy, and what he basically does is buy Bitcoin. Gee, what a business. Anyway, there's no sales, no earnings, no product, no services, and yet we keep having people, oh, it's going to 1 million. It's just so you know, they're all full of crap. They don't know if it's going to 1 million. And it's not like somebody can come out and say to you, well, here is a company that so-and-so, we think they're going to do $3 billion this year, $5 billion next year. And based on that, there is anybody could come up with any stupid price on Bitcoin, but it's based on nothing. You need to know that. And ask anybody in the business, what do they do? They can't answer. I've been on TV with people and saying, what is this based on? So just so you know, it is only based on the next person buying at a higher price. And nobody can argue that. It does nothing. You need to know that. Same with Ethereum, same with Doge. Dennis Rodman once came out with the pot coin, then went to zero. Mark Cuban did a coin, went to zero the next day. Melania Trump came out with a meme coin, down 99%. Trump came out with his own Trump coin, down 95%. And people cashed out beforehand, which is sickening. Whatever. But that doesn't mean it can't go higher. Guess what? It's gone to 124,000 from nothing. So why can't it go to 250, 500, a million? I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying this is not real world stuff. And we'll see how it plays out. So just letting you know, we think near term probably found an area. And if you go back again to March and April, you can see where the lows of the last few days were, and it kind of coincides. We'll see. Next thing I want to bring up. I wrote some things down. In case you don't know, Jay Powell, as of yesterday, stopped quantitative tightening. I hate even talking about this crap, but it's a must because the destruction this man created is beyond the beyond. And I'm worried about the destruction he's going to create going forward. And I'm worried about the destruction that Trump is going to create with easy money. So in case you don't know, Powell printed up to $9 trillion out of thin air. He didn't do all $9 trillion. It was already a certain bunch of trillion, but he went insane with it. Remember, Bernanke started it and told us, oh, the printing of money would be short term, and he used the terminology quantitative easy. He can go screw himself. Anyway, the printed money's been out there forever. Powell went to $9 trillion, took rates to zero. He took that conjured up money out of thin air and rigged the whole bond market. Bought up 10-year bonds like crazy, interfering with the free market. The 10-year yield went down to 0.5%. Created all the inflation, and then Biden stomped on it also with his ridiculous deficit spending and growth of government. And then the inflation showed up and, of course, screwed up the whole housing market to this day. And then the inflation came and he had to stop the money printing. And then he had to roll it back. What do you mean by rolling it back? Well, when he bought all these bonds, once the bond matures, what happens? Well, he was letting it roll away. Just go bye-bye. Meaning from 9 trillion, you go lower and lower down to whatever trillions there's still out there money printed right now. He's no longer going to let it roll off. Meaning if a bond comes due, there's that fake money still, and he's probably going to buy more bonds. Easy money. To what extent, we don't know, and he's out of a job next March or April or May. And unfortunately, the president is going to take over. And President Trump has called for 1% Fed funds, and I can promise you, we'll have 10% inflation if he does that. He's going to nominate, looks like this guy Kevin Hassett, who's just Trump. You might as well put strings on his shoulders because he's just going to be a puppet. And again, if they go too ridiculous easy money, it's going to create massive inflation again, and all kinds of problems are going to happen again. And that's the story. So that's the QT. And Kevin Hassett, I think, has got the market better and back above the 50-day moving average. That's the story. We'll see how it plays out. We're going to watch the bond market. The 10-year yield just bounced up a little bit, was down today, but it's fine. No harm at this juncture. No harm. No harm. Next. Haven't been able to do this often, but DoorDash. A director bought $100 million worth of the stock on November 25th. He paid $195. The stock's already $217. The stock went up $11 on the day it was announced. Just letting you know. The only issue is this director owns 32 million shares. He's a multi-billionaire. He bought 514,000 shares, $100 million. So just letting you know, at 195, we're not telling you to buy or sell. We're not even saying anything. We're just reporting it to you because we love big buying. It's gone from 195 to 217. It was up another $11 today. Got upgraded. That's DoorDash. And then there's this one. Norwegian Cruise Lines. And again, we haven't been able to do this in a while. So Norwegian Cruise Lines, the cruise line stocks except for Viking, have been very, very weak. I just found on November 6th and 7th, that's my music. We'll be back in a second with this. Norwegian Cruise Lines. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, on November 7th and 6th, I've got the three directors, the CFO, something called the Chief Luxury Officer, and the President and CEO buying stock at prices ranging from 18 to 19 and a quarter. So it moved on within a day. I can tell you the CEO bought about $460,000. The luxury officer, I like that title, $250,000. The CFO, $200,000. A director, $500,000. This is dollars. Another director, $129,000, and another director, $96,000. And then another, how about this one? Chief Vessel Operations. On November 25th, after the stock pulled back, bought $99,000 worth of stock. Paid $17.94. So just letting you know, I've got one big buy of DoorDash, but the stock's already had a hell of a move. And then I have a bunch of buying over a 3-week period of Norwegian Cruise. And we'll see how it plays out. And just guess what? We haven't been able to even do this because there's really been no buying, insider buying whatsoever of anything out there. And we'll watch. The biggest issue with that big buy is the guy already has 32 million shares. That said, usually rich people don't spend $100 million if they think they're going to lose money. And of course, he's already up. What is he up already? $17, $22 already. Son of a gun. The rich get richer, right? $22. How many shares did he buy? 500. He made $11 million already. And we'll keep a watch on DoorDash. And that's the story. What else? Banks continue to trade tight, setting up, refuse to break out. Gold and silver have been strong. Gold pulled back today. Gold miners pulled back, but silver was again up today. Silver, muy en fuego. That's the best thing I can tell you with silver and gold. Did the crypto. There's been better tone to some of the mega caps, but it looks like Meta and Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla just bouncing. Very important, Nvidia looked like it was going to break down again yesterday and reversed and was up 5 today, only finished up 1. Why? Rallied right up towards the 50-day moving average and got sold. Remains range bound below the 50-day and new commitments isn't a void. Notice we're careful with those words because we know a bunch of you probably still have it. And again, very important defense of the stock yesterday. We'll call the 175-ish area as support. A break below there, we'll have to talk. Semiconductors. Just strong, and another strong day. That's all I can tell you. Just strong, another strong day. That can change, but back above the 50-day, you have the equipment makers like AMAT new high, ASML new high, KLAC and LRCX are not, but better. Something like a Teradyne right up at new highs. Even some weak stuff like Texas Instruments starting to come on. So the semis. And I can't promise you anything. I can state very tough to have a bear market when the semiconductors are not croaking. They lead up, they lead down. And the fact that they've been getting better is without a doubt part of what's been going on with the market getting better over the last so-and-so amount of days. What else? Caterpillar in the Dow leading. It looks like it's leading. Could go to new highs. We'll see. As I mentioned, the banks, Goldman, Citigroup haven't broken out yet, but if they do, potentially playable, something you can look at if you like and if it fits what you do. Healthcare, which was strong, pulling back right now, not a biggie. Eli Lilly that went straight up, finally coming in. And what we mean by that is it's just dropped from 11.11 to 10.46, about 5%, but that's after going from 900. And just healthcare overall remains in shape. That is a change of complexion. The froth stuff bouncing around here and there. Be careful with your money. A lot of them have already done the round trip. And again, as we have told you, no sales companies. Very simply, if nothing changes based on precedent, we'll all go back to where they came from. You need to know this, and we're already seeing it in droves. I've been amazed to watch people jump on the back of no sales junk. And nothing again, when I use the word junk, it's just companies that have no sales. And I use the term junk as a stock. And I'm looking at one that just went from 10.5 to 5. I could start with just that one. Rare earth, they jumped on. Here's one 16.25 down to 8. That's only 50% drops. And by the way, those are nice ones. How about 19.75 to 5? And these have been highly touted stuff. And unfortunately, government got involved, the president with the rare earth, and supposedly negotiations were on and contracts may or may not be signed with no sales companies. Again, beats the hell out of us what's going on out of there. It's almost exhausting. I saw they're taking another position in another company that's involved with Intel, and Intel broke into new high ground today, up 8%. They better perform. And if we ever find out that there was massive insider trading with these things, well, nobody's going to go to jail. Nobody in D.C. goes to jail, right? And anybody who does go to jail gets pardoned, right? Anyway, that's the story. The fact we even have to talk about that pisses the hell out of us. And that's a little bit on the market. I'm happy that oil continues to just hang. I'm happy that yields just hanging. And now we're getting a little dose of more easy money, and we'll see where it takes us. At the end of that road, if they go too far, did you like that 9-10% inflation? You know, they are talking about affordability now, but they're all missing the mark. It was caused by Powell, a lot of it, especially the housing. I'm in hopes this administration does nothing on affordability because they'll just make it worse. Because their answer to everything seems to be easier money, and all that'll do is make it worse. How do we know? We nailed it the first time. We'll nail it the second time. You want distortions? Easy money. You want to not be able to afford a home? Easier money. If they just leave things alone, you know what's going to happen? Prices for housing will continue to come down, which would not necessarily be bad. It would just be a normalization from the clown Jay Powell that rigged the bond market, that caused Fantasyland. The high end is now starting to be whooped. That's good to see. Up next, love, not love relationships. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. We are a registered Republican. That way we can vote in the primary here in Florida. But we're independent. And those that have followed us for years know we have this motto: they all suck, number one. And number two, they have to earn our trust. And as you know, throughout the 4 years of Biden, we ripped the stuffings out of him for 4 years because all he did was lie. Lied, and more lies. From the border secure, which, by the way, if they were able to arrest somebody that's a president, just for that he should be arrested. What he did at the border, letting in and admitted, oh, we didn't vet everybody. He's the worst president ever. And it's a high bar. And of course, Afghanistan, he lied. And of his family's corruption, he lied. And that's why he pardoned his family. And then there's Trump. And as you know, we're not MAGA. We're Gary. As you know, we believe that trust has to be earned. As you know, we call balls and strikes here. We're rare. And what we mean by that we're rare, you know what we mean by that. The people that Donald Trump once said if he murdered somebody on Fifth Avenue or something, people would still love him. Well, that's correct. It's true. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump does. The people that love him continue to love him. Except on immigration right now. He's losing the Latin American vote big time. But I digress. So the president has called himself the crime president. We're here to fight crime. And if you're a well, he pardons George Santos, who has led a life of crime and fraud, which pissed us off. Pissed us off. He should be in jail. And we know presidents pardon. That pissed us off. Because this guy flaunted. May I continue? Well, it has come to our attention in just the past couple of days. The president just commuted a 7-year sentence of somebody by the name of David Gentile that committed massive fraud. And he only spent 7 days in jail, or 8 days. The man committed fraud on 10,000 investors, hundreds of millions of dollars, never paid back, and the president pardoned him. And it pisses us off. You can't be the crime president and let criminals go. He loses me. And if he wants to know why his poll numbers are horrible, it's because he loses independence. The people that love him, he ain't losing. But he loses the people like me. He also pardoned the Binance founder, who is neck deep in with his family through a proxy. And we all know that. He also pardoned Trevor Milton, who was sentenced to 4 years. We talked about the guy years ago. He let him out. So you're not the crime president. $1.7 billion Ponzi scheme, this David Gentile was let out. But that's not the worst of it. Because the latest, Donald Trump, who professes the fighter of drug dealers, who is killing people on boats in the water that are accused of transferring drugs towards this country. They're just killing them. And it's said, I'm the drug, fighting the drugs. President Donald Trump has formally pardoned the former Honduran president Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was found guilty and sentenced to 45 years in prison for being one of the biggest drug traffickers in history. 400 tons of cocaine towards the United States and other places. So you're not the fighter of drugs, President. Imagine 400 tons of cocaine. Republicans are pissed off at the president. GOP Senator like Bill Cassidy, what the hell is going on here? How do we say we're going after Maduro and let this guy out? Duh. So I got to tell you, if the Republicans lose next year in the midterms, and you know what's going to happen if the Democrats get the House, they're going to impeach him. We'll come up with something. Look no further to what we are reporting to you for why. Because people like me that only care about good and good policy and don't see love for any politician are going to vote their asses out just because. And one of the reasons is he just let out one of the biggest drug traffickers in the history of time, while today professing he is the fighter, while killing people on boats. Love, not love. We'll keep reporting. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Until tomorrow, we're here for you. Bye-bye all.